Hey, so how do we walk our wives through miscarriage? So really good question. I know a lot of times it's such it's always such a traumatic thing for a woman to go through, to lose a pregnancy. And sometimes as men, we can kind of feel helpless. How do we help our wives? What do we say? What do we not say? What do we do and what do we not do? The reason I'm talking about this, I was reminded of this. I saw on my Facebook timeline a couple days ago. It's been 4 years since we walked through a miscarriage experience. And it's such a blur, but at the same time, the memories are very just vivid. I remember the shock of finding out in that moment that my wife was that the baby was alive, but the baby actually detected a heartbeat, and the baby was growing, but the baby was in the fallopian tube, and we were told that there was no way that the baby could survive. The baby would pass away regardless, and if they didn't rush my wife into surgery, that that she would die as well. And it was a miracle that she was actually still alive, that the fallopian tube had not ruptured. And they were asking, how are you not in excruciating pain? And she actually was not in any pain. It was such a shock. We had no time to grieve. We had no time to mourn. We had no time to even process what was happening. They rushed her into surgery. I had time to call my dad and call my pastor just to try to mumble through words and explain what was happening. I remember that moment, some moments so vividly. I remember sitting by myself in the waiting room, in those lonely moments, just waiting and waiting until the surgery was done. I remember the dark days afterwards when I didn't want to be around anybody, but felt like I had to because I'm a pastor, and feeling like I had to have answers when I had no answers, that I had to appear to have it all together when I didn't even want to get out of bed. But I also remember feeling like I needed to be there for my wife, knowing that I needed to be there for my wife, but not knowing how. And so I wanted to just kind of recall this event and maybe try to help some of you guys that are watching this, that are helping your wife walk through this, because sometimes we suffer in silence, and not many, you don't hear people talk about this often. It's such a subject that's just not brought up. So here's just a few things that I think may help you. First of all, don't feel like you have to fix her. As guys, we're kind of wired that way. We feel like we have to fix things, and we feel like whatever problem's happening, it has to be fixed. And sometimes we feel like those that we're trying to help, we want to fix them. In that moment, you can't fix her. Just just be there. Just love her through the situation. Be willing just to sit with her in the hurt and in the brokenness and in the pain of the loss. And don't feel like that you have to fix her. The healing is going to take time, and she'll heal in her own way. And there's no time limit on that. We're still healing from this, and sometimes it just kind of hits us out of nowhere. Also, be willing to listen more than you talk. Sometimes it's better just to not say anything. Sometimes it's better just to shut up. I've learned that from being a pastor. I've learned that. I learned that through this experience with my wife as well. This was actually our second miscarriage. But I've learned sometimes it's good just to listen, to understand that that it's okay not to be okay, and sometimes the best way we can love our wives in the moment is just not to say anything, but let them know, hey, we're here and we're willing to listen and we're not going anywhere. We don't have answers, but I love you. Also, don't neglect yourself, guys. You're mourning too, you're grieving as well, and you can't help her if you're not helping yourself and your own mental health and your own spiritual walk with the Lord. That this is where, don't isolate yourself. I wanted to isolate. I wanted to just be by myself. I didn't want to be around anybody, and that was kind of my answer for a while, and it was a mistake. Make sure that you're spending time still with your believers and those who, our church rallied around us through this. Prayerfully, you have that same thing, or at least you have some sort of community that is rallying around you. Don't neglect that. Don't be like, I just want to be by myself, or don't be like, I'm okay, I don't need help. No. You need to heal as well, so you can help her heal. So anyway, if you're going through that, I pray this is helpful for you as we continue to move forward. And even though we may not have answers, we know who does. So you guys have a good day.